who's to say what this wild card weekend has in store for Chiefs Kingdom? Can we repeat a win against those Miami Dolphins like we did in Germany? Will the fish be so cold out of that Miami water that they will barely be able to move? Well, here's to all of those Dolphin fans who have been bitching all week about the weather. Kick fucking rocks. This is what football used to be all about, the elements and how they add to the game. There is a reason that Green Bay is called the frozen tundra. So bundle up, snowflakes, because I will be the first to tell you Arrowhead can get fucking cold. Oh, and one more thing. Be ready, Finn fans, to worship at the house of Mahomes.
To worship at the house of Mahomes.
I am your host, Golden J. This is the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. And with me, as always, three-time podcasting favorite, it is Chico Noise. What's
What
up, dog?
up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
Gunner's
Nothing.
still working on stuff on his he's looking stuff over, getting stuff ready,
Playoffs.
preparing. Are you
Playoffs.
are you ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm ready for the playoffs. I really hope that we can just blow Miami out of the water again.
Well, that
We
is the dream.
we didn't really blow them out of the water last time, but just just show them that just because they think they're that good doesn't mean they're actually that good. I mean, they did go from being a 2 seed to a 6 seed in like one game.
Well, for those that stayed up and watched that Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins game on was that I think that was Sunday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, what a fiasco when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. I mean, for starters, half of their defense got depleted in that game. I think two or three of their prime guys were out, including one of their top ranked corners and one of their pass rushers. Just getting brutally beat up. Tua ended up throwing what, two or three interceptions in that game? I can't
Oh, I'm
remember.
not sure.
It was just turnover after turnover, and that was the same thing for the Bills. They just kept flipping, turning the ball over, interceptions and fumbles and shit like that. It was a miserable game to watch and something like that. You expected a lot more from those two teams. Now, I'm not saying that Miami won't be ready to come into Arrowhead and just, crank one over. I don't know at this point. Kansas
Tua
City, go
Tua
ahead.
and Allen both had 2 interceptions.
Two.
Yep.
Do you know how many fumbles they gave away? I can't remember if there's a list on any of that stuff that shows it.
1-1. Or
One and
no,
one.
sorry. Buffalo had a fumble. Miami didn't.
Oh, that Buffalo fumble, man. That thing was absolutely insane because that Dolphins guy come around, knocked the ball loose. It went across Allen's body. And as that defensive guy was coming around his body from the hit, the ball just went right into his arms and he just fell to the ground. It was like, are you shitting me? I mean, that thing couldn't have
Perfect timing.
fallen any better. Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know what to expect this weekend. I really don't. I want to think that Kansas City is going to be fired up from all the shit talk that Tyreek Hill has done all year long. To be honest, I haven't really paid a ton of attention to it this week. If he's been talking or if he just shut his mouth,
Yeah.
I would imagine he shut his mouth after the last shutdown, but I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't really paid any attention to Hill. I don't really care.
Right?
He's just
Um,
a
I,
nuisance
I
at this point.
I do feel bad for the guy though. His house burned down.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, his house caught fire. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember exactly when it happened, but yeah, his house caught fire. Everybody got out safe. There was nobody hurt. I mean, all his family and his pets, everything, they got everybody out. I don't know that the whole house burnt to the ground, but um, it was a big blaze. And it's funny because they have those little storylines, those South Park character looking guys that you see on reels and shit all the time.
Yeah.
And it showed they had one where it was Pat was over at Tyreek's house and he's like, Pat, I need you to come back. I need you back on my team. I need you for the playoffs. And Tyreek's, what are you doing? He goes, I'm just setting the mood. He's got like candles lit and he knocks one over and sets the house on
Oh, jeez.
fire. It was pretty
Looks
funny. I
like
laughed.
it's just by reading this beginning of this article, 4-year-old started it with a lighter, playing with a lighter.
Uh-oh, Tyreek, why was there a lighter laying out for a 4-year-old to get a hold of? Hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm. Well, that's sad. That's sad that but like I said, fortunately, everybody got out okay. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah. So, will Kansas City be fired up and ready to go? I mean, they look fired up. The sidelines look really fired up in that Chargers game this last weekend.
Not much to be fired up about, but
Oh yeah.
they seem like it.
We did come away with the dub, ladies and gentlemen, 13-12.
Yay.
Yeah. One of those was an Edwards interception. What was that like? Damn it. I should know these things. Didn't come to my brain. Um, an interception. What do you do? About 60, 70 yard return on that?
Was that a? It was a fumble recovery, wasn't it?
Was it a fumble
Yeah, it
recovery?
was a fumble recovery, not an
Okay.
interception.
Sorry, guys. My bad.
That was at the beginning of the game too. That was early.
It was early. Yeah. It was, yeah. We got 7 points on the board pretty quick. And then it's back to the old tried and
Butker's
true.
leg. Butker's leg. Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty boring game. And of course, I was over at your house watching it, and
Right.
I don't know how much of it I actually watched.
I don't either. I just kind of kept getting up and walking around. And
Yeah.
we had a big spread of food out, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good Sunday.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you who else is the biggest Kansas City Chiefs fan that I've ever met in my entire life, and that is little Sophia.
Oh
She
yeah.
loves to watch the Chiefs play,
She likes to stare at football. Not
for
very
sure.
often she stares at the TV, but I don't know if it's all the movement in football or what. She'll stare at the TV.
Oh, it's got to be all the movement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
I think she was asleep for like 80% of the game, but
no, I don't even know that really.
yeah, she was laying in grandma's arms and just comfy and
Grandma was a happy, happy camper.
yeah. The the TV at your house is so close compared to our TV here.
I was looking at that. I was looking at that yesterday, and I'm like, we need a bigger TV. That 65 is just too small.
Nope, you don't need a bigger TV. If you get a bigger TV, you got to mount on the wall. Can't stick out that far into the room.
Oh, I agree. It'll have to mount, which
Yeah.
means we'll have to take all the shit down and paint that wall.
Don't say
That's
that
not gonna happen.
louder. You smacked.
I know, right?
Try. I try.
So yeah, we did have some good highlights. Uh, McCole Hardman went 6 for 11 for 77 yards.
Mm.
Um, that's a good day for Hardman. He really hasn't played that much, just coming back from injury, and to be able to come out and be productive and to actually, for the most part, I mean, 6 of 11 is not really that great, but he was catching the ball and making yards, 12.8 yards per carry. I mean, come on. I'll take that any day.
And
Um,
Ryan looked good.
that was my other point was I was gonna get the P Ryan. 12 carries, 76 yards. His longest was 10. But man, he had some runs, man. He was definitely getting it done.
And he was 3 or 4 for 33 in receptions. So I mean, He had a pretty good game.
Yeah. Yeah. So an average of 11 yards a catch. I mean, come on. So you have a couple guys now that we know can catch.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pat and Travis, um, and Rashid Rice did not play. They're resting them for the wild card weekend. I think, man, I think it's a mistake. I think you need to keep the momentum going. You need to get the workout. You need to get um, Hardman and Ross and James a chance to catch the ball from Mahomes in some of these. I mean, let's face it. I mean, this was a meaningless game for us.
Oh yeah.
Um,
We're already
you
locked
know,
in.
yeah, we're going to the playoffs, locked in at number three. We can't go up, we can't go down. We're just going to settle in and we needed to get some of these other wide receivers in sync with Mahomes prior to going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that's why Andy Reid gets paid the big money and I don't. Make those
Exactly.
decisions. Yeah, make those decisions. So yes, all those guys did not play. Pacheco did not play. That was another one that didn't play. I'm not really too beat up on the Pacheco thing because the guy runs so hard and he is like a bulldozer, and every time I'm afraid he's going to get hurt. I don't want to see him
He
get hurt.
needed a rest.
He did.
I think it's good for him. I think that he definitely needed the time to sit and practice but relax.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think that's the same for all those guys. And maybe it was it was time for them just to have another bye week pretty much and
Right.
just kind of have that opportunity to be on the sidelines rooting on the guys that don't get to play and kind of maybe even from the sideline watching the offense and seeing what these guys are doing that maybe they could change when they get out on the field. So
Right. That makes sense. I
it's good
mean,
it's good to see the game from the field, but it's also good to see the game from the sideline or in
right.
the stands, right? Like you're looking at it in a completely different light than Andy Reid is or Mahomes
Right.
is or Kelsey is. So I think that it's good for those players, especially being locked in. Save them, keep them from getting hurt. You never know. I mean, like you said, look at some of those guys from the Bills game and the Bills Dolphins game
Right.
that got hurt. I mean, that could have happened to any of those players just because they went out and played two plays in a meaningless game.
Right. And then got rolled up on or
Yeah, and then they're out for the playoffs, and then what do we
right.
do? So
No, I get it. I mean, yeah, I'm still to the point where I just want to see them work out the problems that they have. It's
I
it's
just
been driving me nuts.
they've had all season to do it, and they haven't done it. So
Uh,
one game wasn't gonna change that. I don't think so.
right. I can
And
understand that.
especially playing the Chargers, and I mean, yeah, I don't know what's up with the Chargers, but
They have a lot of problems, that's for
yeah,
sure.
very much so.
It'll be interesting to see what the Chargers do this offseason. Um, there's a lot of money on the table that they're going to have to pay out. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do, who they're going to keep, who they're going to let go. And same thing in Kansas City too. I mean, we have a lot of people on the bubble at this moment. Snead
Hmm.
and Jones, and a lot of these contracts are coming to a fold, and it'd be interesting to see what happens. Standard talk around town is that you will not see Chris Jones in Kansas City next year because they just can't afford to pay him what he wants.
Yeah,
Which
well, you saw
is
this
what
year.
we yeah, which is how we got into this year, the beginning of. So,
And
um,
congratulations to Chris Jones for finally getting his 10 sacks and making his couple or million and a half or whatever it was.
what was it,
Yeah,
$1.25 million for 10
for
sacks on the season? Yes, absolutely. Congratulations. I was going to bring that up. Um, I was rooting for him. I wanted to see him get it because, he didn't get the big money. He got the incentives. So
yeah.
in order um, to get the money, he needed to have that 10th sack. And Andy Reid knew it, and Andy Reid wanted him out bad, but he knew that was you know that was part of the deal. Was you got to get in there and play to get it. So he let him play until he got it, and then boom,
He's
it
out.
was
Pulling.
it was it was it was so funny to see him. as soon as he got to the bench, start ripping that tape off his arms and stuff like that. You
Hmm.
knew he was completely done for the
And
day. So
that's the other side of that with Kelsey too, is like 16 yards is all he needed to get to his 1,000, and that's what we wanted to see. Everybody wanted to see him get his 1,000 yards.
yeah,
It
yep,
could have happened in one play. It could have happened in 20 plays. It could have not happened. So
absolutely
that's the other toss up in that is I wanted to see Kelsey play just to get his 16 yards and then do what they did to Chris Jones and just say, all right, now get to the bench, take your tape off, take your pads off, take your helmet off,
right,
and coach Bell, coach everybody,
right.
walk them through, say, all right, hey, this is what you did this play, and okay, now go back out and do it again. And I know that's what they were doing the whole game, but if Kelsey could have just got his 16 yards, man,
I know, right?
I don't know how many consecutive seasons that would have been this year, but I mean,
I don't remember, but it
is it four or
looking
five? I think.
looking back to the beginning of this, the mid part of the season when Coach Rob sent us the email and said all he needs is like 60 yards a game and he's got it. And would he have even gotten that 16? Because
The
think
week
about what
before he
he's
only
had.
had 14 or
Yeah.
13.
Yep.
I
So
don't know.
yeah, I don't either. I don't either. He could have gotten it last week and not had to worry about it, and now he didn't get it, and now here we are, and he ends up with a 900 and what is it?
80,
84,
84, yeah.
84, 86.
80, yeah, it was
84.
984. 984.
There you go.
Um,
Which, I mean, in the grand scheme of it, 984 yards for as much as he was double covered and did not
yeah,
really see the ball. That's still a pretty good fucking year. So,
that makes you think if he wasn't, how many yards would he had?
yeah,
And I
exactly.
mean, that was us not playing well all season.
Right.
I did do little air quotes. I think it was off camera, but little air quotes because I mean, 11-6 is not a great record, but it's also not a terrible record. It got us into a 3 seed playoffs, got us a home game. I mean, you can't complain. 3 seeds do well.
They do. They do.
I mean,
And it depends on what happens this weekend.
yeah.
There are some good teams going up against some good teams. So, you don't get in the playoffs if you're a shit team. I mean,
Hmm.
unless you're Tampa Bay at this point, but um I'm trying to think. They're probably the lowest seed. They're the lowest win percentage in the whole playoffs, ain't they?
Yeah, yep. Tampa Bay is, I think, their record. They're,
Like 9-8 or
yeah, barely 500. So we got Cleveland at Houston, Miami at KC, Pittsburgh at Buffalo, and then on the NFC side we have Philly or Philly at Tampa Bay.
yeah, yep,
So Tampa
yeah.
Bay managed to get a home game.
Well, they won their division, so they
Yeah.
get to host the first. They get to host the game, and Philly went from that number one spot down to what? Are they a sixth seed now, or are
Um,
they a fifth seed?
fifth, I think.
Okay.
You have the Rams at the Lions and the Packers at the Cowboys.
All right, jump back over to the AFC side real quick.
Okay.
First game,
Yeah.
Houston, and
Cincinnati or not Cincinnati, Cleveland.
all right, and Cleveland's on the road to Houston, right?
Yep.
I don't have it in front of me. I should have pulled it up. What's your pick?
Um, hmm. I'm actually gonna take the Browns on the road.
I'm going to be rooting for the Browns. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think if CJ Stroud is on his game, I think they're going to be a tough team to beat. So
Hmm.
I'm right down the middle of the road on this one. I think it could go either way. Joe Flacco coming into Cleveland, doing what he's done to bring that team into the playoffs. I think that's some great momentum, and it's going to be really hard to beat. Um, but at the same time, Houston, when they're on, they're on.
I think they're gonna
Although,
choke it out. I do. I think that Cleveland will come in and just go off.
all right, I'm down. I'm with you. I'll be rooting for the Browns. I'm rooting for the Browns, man. They
Hmm.
deserve it. Give me a second game.
Steelers at Bills,
Oh, Steelers
and
at Bills.
I'll tell you what, I want the Steelers to win this game really bad, but I think the Bills are really gonna come to play. but I'm gonna take Pittsburgh.
You
I
can take
don't want to
Pittsburgh.
take two away teams, but I mean,
If I had to put money down, I'm gonna put money on the Bills.
hmm
Although, um, and the reason I say that is because Watt went down in that last game.
oh
He
yeah,
is their big pass rusher. He was the one that's going to get into Allen's face and rough everything up. And I think without that, I don't see Pittsburgh really just tearing it up.
yeah,
Um, Rudolph has played exceptionally well for them since he's come in. He is a seasoned veteran. He was a starting quarterback in Pittsburgh before they got their new guy. Is it Pritchard
Pickett.
Pickett? I knew somewhere along that lines. Um, but
Yeah, I think so.
Rudolph kind of fell down the line. He was a starter, and now I think he was a third string of what he is now, starting.
Yeah,
And he's done well. And like I said, he's a seasoned veteran, so he knows how to play the game. So I think he is going to do well, but I just don't think that they're going to throw up enough offense to keep up with that Bills offense with
hmm
Stephon Diggs and those guys, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and they get cooked, and they end up with Devlin Cook, or whatever it is, the
I'm not
running
sure.
back, I believe, and they just for some weird reason, Buffalo keeps signing all these veteran players out of nowhere, which I don't know how that works, but
They're a good team, and those guys need a job.
yeah. Um, all right, so that takes us to Kansas City hosting Miami.
I mean, that's an obvious choice, but
Oh yeah,
we did say a couple episodes ago that we think we're gonna be one and done, and I
one and
think
done.
that I think that Miami is a team that could do it to us.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. If they're on their game. Once again, the weather is going to take a factor. Their
hmm
defense falling apart is going to take a factor. Rumor has it they just signed Justin Houston this week to
Oh
come on
really?
the defensive side of the ball. And I love Justin Houston, but he's good, but I think he might have been good years ago and not as good these days. But
Yeah.
um yeah, I think if our offensive line could hold up, I think we can manage to give Pat some time. Rasheed Rice, Justin Watson getting open.
Kelsey avoiding some double teams,
Yep. And
keeping
let's
Holden Hill from no touchdowns again.
that would be beautiful. And Snead's going to be all over it. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Snead wants it. He wants it bad. So yeah, excited to see how that plays out.
yeah.
And
I
if
will take. I'm gonna take the
and if
Chiefs though on that
oh
one.
yeah, definitely taking the Chiefs. But if they're one and done, it doesn't matter. Still a diehard Chiefs fan. We made the playoffs. It's all good.
Yep.
We'll be excited for what they do in the offseason. We'll be excited if they win the Super Bowl and what they do in the offseason.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's just do the NFC real quick
sounds good.
since it's here. We got the Eagles at Tampa Bay. I mean, I
I,
think I'm gonna take another away team, but I think Philly's just gonna demolish them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
Um,
agree with you. Although I don't think that the Eagles are playing up to as good as
oh,
they
they're
were
not.
playing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they're not. They're definitely not.
They're not a Super Bowl team.
Rams at the Lions. I'm gonna be rooting for the Lions just because we got all the family members up there in Michigan that are also rooting for the Lions, and I'll take the Lions. It's been one of those underdog stories this year, I guess. So
The Lions can get it done if they get out of their own fucking way.
yeah.
That's the problem. I will pick the Lions, and I will be rooting for the Lions on on the simple fact that here is a team who has been in the hole for the past 30 years.
hmm
Or 20 years, 25 years, whatever it was. Since Barry Sanders left, the Detroit Lions have not been a real team. Barry Sanders carried that team quite a bit, and they just have not been able to even put together a really good season. I think this is the first time they've been to playoffs in at least 20 years, isn't it?
It's
15
yeah.
years.
It's been a long time.
So I will be rooting for Detroit. I want to see Detroit.
hmm
I'd love to see Detroit go to the Super Bowl. Fuck yeah, I would.
That'd be great. Yeah.
They're one of four teams that have never been in a Super Bowl.
Lions Chiefs
Lions Chiefs, a
repeat of week
rematch of
one.
a week one. Hey, that is a scenario that could happen. We could
Yeah.
repeat
Oh
week
yeah.
number one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um.
next.
Yep. Packers at Cowboys. And that's a tough one. I think the Cowboys will take it, but I think Packers are not
Let,
not playing
listen,
too bad.
listen. The Packers are a team that surprised us late in the season this year.
Mm-hmm.
Coming on and playing exceptionally well. It's almost like Love's flipped a switch
Yeah.
and learned how to play fucking football. I didn't have hopes for him after they trade off Rodgers and he was coming in. I thought he was a shit quarterback and he's proved me wrong. He's turned into a quarterback who can go out there and get the job done. He's proven it, taking his fucking team to the playoffs. So, I mean, any given Sunday, but
I'm gonna take the
um,
Cowboys.
the Cowboys are just clicking on all cylinders right now and have been for a majority of the season. So it's hard to step away from the Cowboys getting through this game.
Yeah, I think they'll just take it away. And then I don't know exactly how that all plays out once it's done, said and done, but
It all goes on ranking. So the Baltimore Ravens have the bye week, which means they will play the lowest seed left in the playoffs.
which will be the game. It'll be either the Texan or no, the Browns or the Bills, correct? Yeah.
No, the Bills are a number two seed, so they will
Oh,
host.
sorry, sorry. It'll be the Browns
Yeah,
or the Dolphins, or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. If
depending
the
on.
if the Dolphins win, it'll probably be the Dolphins. If Kansas City wins, it'll
Mhm.
probably be and the Browns win, it'll probably it's a
It's gonna be
scenario that you could
situational, so
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And it's hard to debate it and set up a fucking bracket and be like, okay, here you go.
yeah.
We used to run a bracket where it was like you picked a team out of a hat and that's who you got. It didn't matter, you couldn't make picks. You could pick every week, but you couldn't make picks at the beginning of the season. You couldn't set up a bracket to say this is how it's going to play out.
Okay, so if Pittsburgh wins, they'd play Baltimore. Miami wins, they play Baltimore. If Cleveland
Right.
wins, they'd play Baltimore.
Yeah.
Um, and then
Well,
that's when it gets all.
depending on who if the other two teams, if Pittsburgh and Miami lose and the Browns win, then they'll play Baltimore,
Yeah.
and we would go to Buffalo. No, wait, I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get out of the playoffs.
All right, we're out of the playoffs. I don't know that we have a ton of talk about this Chargers game. It was what it was. It was a no meaning game for us. It gave us a chance to really see what Blaine Gabbert can do, which 15 for 30 for 154 yards. A lot of swing routes, just a lot of,
It was a lot of screen passes.
yeah,
I mean,
it just was terrible.
that's all right. That's us going vanilla again, just letting him get some snaps, I guess.
Well, let's keep him warmed up. That way he's been in the game in case something happened, God forbid, to Pat in this game where he has to come in. At least he's taking some snaps and not coming cold off the bench. And
Yeah.
I can say the same thing for P. Ryan. I like P. Ryan. I don't think he has enough. I don't think he quite has enough patience to
I
hit the
think
hole just right. But
I will be honest, I think that he could easily just swap out for Allaire right now. I think that the way P. Ryan played,
right,
I think that he could just as easily be our number two.
absolutely.
And if something happened to Allaire, he'd be right in there and he'd be just fine.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to talk about that at some point. What will Clyde Edwards-Helaire be for us next year? I think it'll be somewhere else. I don't think they're going to bring him back. I think he just kind of kept him as a safety net. He had a couple good games. I mean, when Pacheco was out, but P Ryan, 76 yards in that game goes to show that he can definitely run the ball and gets the ball.
Hmm.
Like you said, what 33 yards in receiving yards. So why wouldn't we keep him and let Alaire go and just call it good? I don't think P Ryan is. Do we know? Hold on, let me click on this real quick and see if it tells me. Um, Fourth, he's a fourth round pick. So I do believe Allaire was a first round pick, right?
I think so.
He was a fourth round pick out of Florida. And Clyde Edwards Allaire was a first round pick. So, Allaire's got that first round money and where P. Ryan doesn't. So, I mean, it'd be a little less off the cap for us there to be able to work with Snead's contract. I think that's going to be our biggest offset for the off season is getting Snead tied up. I don't think we need to let him go.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, thoughts?
No, nope. I'm
Okay.
just I'm ready for the playoffs. I'm honestly kind of ready for football to be done. Um, it's just been one of those seasons that's been a little bit more on the we've been so lucky to have a team that just wins, right? And
Right.
um so this season's been a little bit more stressful to be a fan. Remind you of the good old days.
Yeah, it
Um
absolutely does. When we were 3-13 in 2008 or whatever the hell it was.
yeah, well even the first couple Alex Smith years where we started getting better and it was like we're still not like doing great, but um
We're
I just
winning.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were winning at that point. And this
Yeah.
is one of those we're winning, made it to the playoffs, but we're
We're
also
not we're not
not
winning in the fashion we've gotten used to in the last
yeah,
5 years.
we're not 14-3, we're 11
Yeah.
and 6.
Yeah.
We're not
Yep.
15-2, we're 11 and 6. We're not 17
Exactly.
and 0, dang it.
I know, right? Well, um, yeah, we're gonna have to we'll have to one of our final episode, we're gonna have to go through that stat system, ain't we?
Yep.
We still got that written down. What is it, the top of our normal thing here?
Oh yeah, it's all the way at the top.
All right. Um, well, let's go through our Chargers Kansas City predictions. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We got to do
Do
it.
it
Do it.
without the chief, but that's
He was supposed to be here. I can't believe he's not here yet.
it's all right. We'll be done by the time he gets here.
I know, right?
All right. Sunday at 4:25, the Chiefs played the Chargers at SoFi.
SoFi. Is it SoFi?
SoFi.
Is it SoFi? What is?
I don't know. It says it on here, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's SoFi. Yeah, because the Raiders,
SoFi.
the Raiders are at Allegiant. Those are the two brand new stadiums that they spent all that money on.
Yep. 95% capacity. I'm sure at least 30% of that was Chiefs fans.
Oh
And that's
God, if not
okay.
more,
And
if
that's what
not
we like to
more.
see. Traveling well to LA to play the
Oh,
Chargers.
hey, speaking of, and it's all over Facebook, but and I think I pointed it out during the game. Casey Mike, you might remember him from last season being on the show on Indiana Chiefs fans, was actually on the TV. They panned to him and he was sitting there, and I'm like, I know that dude. And then the next thing you know, Facebook blew up. It's like Casey Mike, you were on TV.
Yeah.
So congratulations, buddy. I don't know if you still listen to the show or not, but we saw you on TV. It was fucking awesome, and I'm glad you could make a Chiefs game. I know that it's kind of in his hometown, and he hasn't really been able to travel out to Arrowhead.
Yep.
But I was happy to see he got to get a game in. So yeah, thrilled for him.
Yeah. Good deal. Yeah. We saw his mohawk. We're like, oh, there he is.
Absolutely.
All
All right.
right. So final score was 13-12. Kansas City, one of the most boring games of football I've watched in a long time. We once again did our thing. We just over predicted. You had a
Absolutely.
differential of 23, Chief had 21, and I had 13. So
Right on.
yeah, so it was a little all over the place. Took that one. We did change over Mahomes to Gabbert for yards, so Chief guessing zero on all those. Doesn't get any points. Gabbert had 154 yards. Like we said, he was 15 for 30. You took that one with 101, and I had 100.
Nice.
Total touchdowns, he had zero. So hey, Chief gets one with
And he
zero on
gets
that one.
one with zero.
I swapped out Kelsey for Bell.
Oh, nice.
Bell had 3 yards, so you took that one with 19.
As a
And
tight end, that's the highest we had in the tight end range. Noah Gray didn't have any yards.
I think Gray
Nope,
did.
zero,
Yeah, yep,
zero for
zero.
zero on three
I
targets.
think
Damn.
I did look through to make sure, but
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, Bell had
Nope.
three.
You're right on the money.
No touchdowns. So you and Chief took some points there. I did change out Pirine for Pacheco, and I kept Valerian because he did have a yard,
Right on.
or he had, yeah, 1 yard. So you took both points there.
Hey,
Took the
hey, look at me.
um, no touchdowns
No touchdowns.
for either one.
That's
Oh
fair.
wait. Did
Wait,
somebody have a
wait.
touchdown?
No,
Okay, yeah, no touchdowns for either one.
nope.
Let's see here. The receivers, most yards was actually Hardman, so we didn't either. None of us guessed
No.
that. We had James Watson and MVS.
To be fair, I didn't know Hardman was coming back.
No, I don't. I didn't either. So,
Yeah.
no points there for anybody. Longest pass play was 37 yards, and that was Nicole. And you
Oh.
took that with 36 one off. Pretty good.
Speaking of McCole Hardman, the fucking announcers need to fucking get their shit straight because he says at the beginning of the game, McCole Hardman's not playing today.
And you were
And
like,
he's fucking right there. I see
yeah,
him on my fucking TV, you piece of shit. I
yeah,
hate these fucking announcers, man.
yep. Defense, interceptions to sacks. It was 0 interceptions, 3 sacks. So I took the 3 sacks. Chief and
Nice.
I both had 1 interception on that one. So most sacks was Jones, Omenahu, and um
It's Herring.
Herring. Yeah,
Yep.
Herring.
Malik
Malik
Herring.
Herring.
Yep.
So yeah, most sacks. You and I both took points for that. Bucker
Nice.
was perfect in this game.
Yay. He is a machine.
He is.
He needs to get with fucking Bert when they could go, I am the machine.
Yes. Taylor was not there.
She wasn't. She was at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, well, she was in the
She was
same
in town.
town,
Yeah.
but
She probably had obligations prior to the Globes that she had to go
I,
deal with.
I would assume so.
Did you hear
Uh,
about the fucking Joy
yeah,
John jackass that made a fucking comment about her?
yeah. I am. Do you remember me saying who is that guy? I was
Yeah,
like, there's no way that guy's gonna be funny. Why would they even? Nobody knows who that comedian is, and
he wasn't
apparently
funny.
he was not funny.
Yeah, fuck that dude.
Yeah,
And I'm not because I'm a fucking Swiftie or something. Just fuck that dude.
yeah. That was the most odd choice to have
Yeah,
that person. I don't know. Total for the week 18, 10, and 12. Leaves the final overall season total at 139, 130, 162. But
nice.
I did do something.
Uh-oh, here we go. Here it is. Look at this
So
thing. Ladies and
y-
gentlemen, if you're not watching on YouTube, you need to look over on YouTube at whatever moment we are, 45 minutes, and look at this thing that Chico has set down and put together. This fucking thing is amazing.
oh, I gotta put in the final score here. 13
Well,
to 12, and
win.
that's a win. So what I did here is I have all of the stats that we went through over the entire season. It's got the final scores here. All that automatically sums up, which is nice. It just pop in a number.
Automatically puts it
It
in.
puts it in there. So, um, and then it totals across the board here too. So what I did was I took extra points for first place, whoever got the most points in that category.
Uh-huh.
So 5 points if you got first place, 3 points if you got second place, 1 point if you got third place. So I went through and I summed all those up over here and how many points are
How
on
many
there
extra
here.
points you got on there?
Yep. So the final total scores for the season 181, 170, 204.
Nice. Listen, you got to give it up to Chief, man. 170 and he missed an entire week. Although you did give him a
I
bonus
gave him a 10-point bonus somewhere. It's You'll see it right here.
right there.
It was a random thing, most sacks. I was like, all right, so just throw 10 in there for him and
Give him a little extra point.
yeah,
Make it closer. But what you still beat me by 19, 20, 21, 20, 22 points?
23.
23 points. Damn it, man.
Yep. Yep.
That's all right, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really worth it to do all this typing in, but it was
It
kind of
looks
fun.
fucking awesome, dude. I'm just saying.
It was pretty fun to do.
I bet. It looks awesome. So
Yes.
now you're subject to do that next year.
Oh, it's gonna be completely different next year. I'm gonna come
Oh,
up with some new stuff,
all right.
and it's all gonna be pre-done before we even start episode 1. So
All right. I'm excited. We actually will sit down and work on some stuff for next year.
some sturdier predictions.
Yeah, and a little bit more I don't know what I want to say, a little more structured what we come in and talk about and how
Yeah,
we talk about things. But
I agree.
I did want to bring up one more thing, and that is Nick Jones was on the field for almost the entire Chargers game. I was thrilled that he was there. He had three solo tackles. Um, I know he had one great big breakup of a play that was fucking awesome. If you don't remember, Nick Jones was the Ball State. Um, is he a corner or is
Seventh,
he a safety?
I think he's this corner.
Okay.
7th round.
Oh yeah, yeah. Last pick of the draft, coming out of Ball State, which you hardly ever see. And it was just good to see him playing in the game and doing well, and hopefully that persists in the next season, and he can get some more playing time and represent Ball State. I think it's fucking awesome. So,
Yeah.
Nick Jones, number 31 in your program, number one in your hearts.
Yes. So I'm gonna say we fill this out outside of the podcast. We just kind of do it in our own time since Chief's not here,
Okay,
and I want him to fill it out. And maybe if you go to fill it out one day this week, you can text him while you're doing it and say, "Hey, fill this thing out." That way
okay,
he has it filled out.
sounds like a plan.
And I'll fill mine out this evening sometime.
All right.
All held
Yes.
accountable.
We're all held accountable.
But
Playoffs.
I think if you're not there filling it out, we're not gonna remember to remind him. So
That is
and
true.
then he won't fill it out either way. So
That is also true. He's a very busy dude right now, trying to clean up his house and get it
yeah,
prepped to sell, and he's got a lot going on. So, um, hopefully by this time next year, he'll have everything all dealt with, and he will be right here with us for the entire season. So,
let's hope so.
let's
Let's
hope so.
hope so.
Absolutely. Anything else we need to talk about in Kansas City news?
I don't think so.
Talk
Um,
about that. Want to talk about that fucking cold this coming up this weekend?
it's gonna be cold. If you're at the game. If you're at the game, make sure you are bundled up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I read it's supposed to be 9 degrees
Yeah, plus wind chill.
plus wind chill. It's a 16-mile-an-hour wind that's going to be whipping through there. And I'm going to tell you, and I stated this in my opening thing, I know fucking Arrowhead is a cold motherfucker,
Yeah,
period. I can tell you from the AFC Championship game last year. However, I don't think it's going to be as cold this weekend as it was during the AFC Championship game.
probably not. Probably not as cold as the time I went out there in a blizzard too.
True. You remember what the temperature was in that blizzard?
I don't remember, but it was probably pretty darn
Probably pretty
cold.
cold. Probably pretty
Sunday,
cold.
Sunday,
Sunday.
Sunday in
Sunday.
Kansas City. AM snow
You
showers.
you realize the game's Saturday night.
Oh, the game Saturday night.
Yep.
Well,
8 o'clock,
okay. Saturday night,
7:45,
8 o'clock.
7:15, and
We're looking at
Eastern Standard Time.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
I don't know what time they start.
I
Moon
think
set is
it's
8:03.
8:03. Is that 8:03 Eastern or is that 8:08 Central?
That'd be Central Time.
I do believe the game starts 7:15 Central Time or
Okay.
8:15 Eastern Time.
So we're looking at anywhere between 12 degrees and -5 degrees within that time period. Somewhere in the
Yes.
middle of that.
That's
Plus wind chill.
plus wind chill. It's not supposed to be -5, is it?
And -5. Low is around -5 in Kansas City overnight.
No shit. It might be colder than the AFC game. The AFC game was down into was it 6 degrees plus wind chill, which made it below zero.
No.
It was cold. I'm gonna tell you right now, snowflakes. If you're going out there and you're Dolphin fans and you're whining and crying, fucking just make sure you get out your heated blanket or whatever you fucking need to stay warm, because it is cold in Arrowhead. It is an open stadium. It's the way football was supposed to be played in the frozen tundra
The
of fall
frozen
fields.
tundra. We also have those negative temperatures heading our way too. So,
Yes, yes, I know.
um,
Monday and Tuesday, I do believe, right?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 8, 0, 3, 12, 13, 17, 14, 14.
Mm,
Cold weather.
gotta be cold.
Got pretty much our first real snow of the year here in Indiana,
Yeah,
northern Indiana, or real snow.
yeah,
Covered the ground, but it kind of melted away or
yeah.
in the
Well,
afternoon. But
by 8 o'clock, it started to rain here
yeah,
and turned the roads from snow covered and shitty to
slushy.
slushy wet. If they'd been plowed, they were fine by then. But yes, I actually had to take a delay this morning. I had to delay my morning by 2 hours because now listen. I was on my way to the car to go, and I got a phone call from your mother,
Hmm.
and she said if you have not left yet, do not go because the highway is complete shit, and she had almost slid off a couple different times, and she's like, just wait it out, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
so. I waited it out this morning, a couple hours, and I did go to work. I mean, I wasn't trying to be a pussy, but I'm not going to put myself in that fucking predicament. Fuck it.
yeah.
And
I
by the time I got there, it was all rain.
yeah.
So, but I did talk to my friend Brad, who does a lot of the plowing for the hospital that I work at, and he told me the snowflakes were as big as a post-it note this morning. So,
It was kind of crazy. I was stopped at the 6 and 15, and all of the big lights there, and the snow was just like a sheet of white coming down.
yeah,
It wasn't like you could hardly see the flakes. They were so compact together. Just
right on.
so it was thick and it was coming down. And then like you said, it turned to rain, and it rained most of the day.
It did.
And
It did.
but yeah, I did text Sarah when I got to work and said, give yourself an some extra time on the way to daycare because the roads are bad.
Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Gotta love it. It is winter in Indiana, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
And not only did we get snow, but I caught myself a cold, as if you couldn't
Yep.
tell by my voice. The beauty of a cold is I get that low
You get
James
that
Earl Jones
low
voice.
voice, baby.
Luke,
Get
I
that
am your
low
father.
Luke. I get that low voice, baby.
Oh yeah, this is Jeremy
Oh
White.
yeah, this is Chico White coming at you live from WKPPX.
Coming to www. Ooh, here we go.
WD-40.
Oh man,
Grease.
WD-40.
All right.
All right. Well, Chico, I think we get out of here. Sorry we missed you tonight, Chief. You should be
Yeah, he's not listening anyway.
no, he's not. Dirty bastard. Um, but we'll be back again next week. Win or lose, we will be here. So,
Might be the
and then
last episode.
it
Might be
might be
the
the last episode, or we might be on the air until after the Super Bowl. We don't know, but we decided that when the Chiefs season is over, the Indiana Chiefs fans podcast season is over. There's no point to talk about those fucking 49ers.
nope.
Just saying. All right, my man. I will talk to you soon. And from our little slice of Chiefs Kingdom right here in the great state of Indiana, I just have one question to ask you. How about those Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Later.
Thank you for listening to the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Podbean, any of your favorite podcast sites. Be sure to watch us on YouTube. Just search for the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. Also, check us out on Facebook for any updates on the Chiefs and all of our weekly posts. You can find us at facebook.com/inchiefsfanspod. Finally, go check out our Golden Mojo Entertainment website at goldenmojoent.com. You can find information about your 3 favorite hosts and all the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment family. Those podcasts include The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, The United States of Paranormal, The Golden 80s Podcast, The Murdnerds, and A Court of Books and Booze. Thank you for tuning in, and how about those Chiefs?